I've come down to talk with the Minister for Education and Children, Mr. Crookall. We are basically being given a briefing here to the press to say nothing's changed. What you said before is what you're going to do as far as Tynwald's concerned this coming sitting, and this is it now, because I mean up to now things have been a bit fluid.
Yeah, quite right. As I said at the last meeting we had, the department and Treasury were having meetings right up till the lunchtime session of Tynwald last month. So this is now to clarify everything that's going to be at the February Tynwald.
Okay, now while we're doing this, I'm going to run all the PowerPoint stuff that we've been shown, so it'll give it more clarity, because I can't cover everything in this. But just the nuts and bolts of it, people are going to be charged £2,500, aren't they, basically, if they go to university, if they're being treated as a local and not an international student, for starters.
Yes, it's a £2,500 loan across the board to everybody that's going to go to university, and that is to the student, not to the families. So they'll be responsible for that as and when they graduate.
Will it go through?
That's the question. I can't guarantee that. I hope it will. We've got to do something as a department, as our contribution to rebalancing the books for the government.
I mean, you've had a briefing with your Tynwald members. All but a couple went? Yes,
it was a very good turnout. It was a very good meeting. There was a couple of...
Well, those couple that didn't go, were they the important ones that were going to vote against you?
I mean, they're all important. It doesn't matter whether they're going to... Well, it doesn't matter if they're going to...
You've counted your votes. You know where you're going to go.
It's still going to be close, Paul. It's still going to be close. But, we've done what we had to do. We've discussed it with Tynwald members. Those that weren't there yesterday had genuine reason not to be there. They gave their apologies. So they'll get the briefing notes from yesterday's meeting.
And these briefing notes, I mean, you're pretty well covering every eventuality, presumably, that you thought of here. But, I mean... It's still the fact that people have got to find this money. They're going to have to change their lifestyles. And you've got Alf Cannon, for instance, saying that maybe the rich shouldn't be paying as much as they might have to pay. Your views on that?
Yeah, well, we think what we're bringing forward is fair. Alf is talking about putting up the rate of tax and things like that. That's not what Tynwald has set out to do, and Tynwald has said they're not going to do that. We've got to do, as I said, our bit for the department, for government from the department, and we believe this is the best way forward that protects those within our statutory obligations as well. 1,000
students roughly a year leave school. About 400-ish will go on to university?
Yes, that's about.
So it's actually affecting less than half of everyone that's going. But it's a vocal lot now you're dealing with, aren't they? Demonstrations outside Tynwald, you've got the students actually activated and to be more vocal.
You can't blame them for that, but they've been very well behaved, as I said before. And I said to them, we had about 17 or 8 of them in the department last week for a meeting. It was a very good meeting. I think they got a lot more out of it. They understand exactly how the department runs, how we work our budgets. And I think they understand actually why we're doing it. I understand why they're complaining. They're going to be the first cohort. They're going to end up with some sort of a loan, which has never happened before. That was bound to happen.
Okay, well, we've seen all the details here on the PowerPoint. But one more time, and I want to be absolutely clear, there'll be no more compromises.
No, no more concessions. What's on the table now, what you've seen this morning, I will be taking to February Tynwald.
And if that does fail?
We'll have to see, Paul.